There is an island at the very edge of Europe, where the ground is greener than anywhere else on Earth. Where cliffs fall straight into a raging ocean. Where stone monuments stand older than the pyramids of Egypt. And where an ancient language, spoken for thousands of years, still refuses to die. The world knows it for its music, its poets, and its endless shades of green. But almost no one knows the real reason this island became what it is. Because Ireland is not just a beautiful country. It is a survivor. A place that was invaded, starved, and emptied of its people, and somehow held on to its soul through all of it. So before we travel to its wildest coasts and its most haunting ruins, we'll begin with a few things almost no one knows. And once you understand them, everything we see later, especially the final 3 places, will look completely different. This is the story of the island that refused to forget. Let's start with the color, because it's the first thing anyone notices about Ireland. They call it the Emerald Isle, and it earns the name. From the air, the whole country looks like a patchwork of impossible greens. So vivid, it almost doesn't look real. But here's what most people never ask. Why is it so green? The answer blows in from the west. Ireland stands directly in the path of the Atlantic, and warm ocean currents carry moisture straight onto its shores almost every single day. It rains here more than almost anywhere in Europe. And that endless soft rain, falling on mild, gentle land, feeds a green so deep the Irish say there are 40 shades of it. So the beauty everyone comes to see was born from the very thing travelers complain about, the rain. In Ireland, the grey sky and the green land are the same story. Now the second thing, and it's one of the strangest facts on Earth. There are no snakes in Ireland. None, not a single native species. Legend says a saint drove them all into the sea. The truth is even older. When the last ice age ended and the ice retreated, the seas rose and cut Ireland off from the rest of Europe before snakes ever had the chance to reach it. They simply never arrived. And so to this day, this is one of the only places in the world where you can walk through the wild grass without ever looking down. The third thing changes how you see everything here. We think of the great ancient wonders as Egyptian or Roman, but hidden in the Irish countryside stands a monument older than all of them. It was built more than 5,000 years ago, before the pyramids of Giza, before Stonehenge, by a people who left no written words at all. And these builders understood the sky better than we ever gave them credit for, because for one single morning each year, on the shortest day of winter, the rising sun sends a beam of light through a narrow opening and straight down a stone passage. lighting up a chamber that stays in total darkness for the other 364 days. 5,000 years ago, people on this island could track the movement of the sun with such precision that they carved it into the land itself. And it still works perfectly to this day. Which brings us to the fourth thing, the reason Ireland matters far beyond its size. When the Roman Empire fell and much of Europe slid into darkness, something remarkable happened on this small, rainy island. In quiet monasteries perched on cliffs and hidden in valleys, Irish monks copied and protected the great books and manuscripts of the ancient world, page by page, by hand, by candlelight. While knowledge was being lost everywhere else, it was being saved here. Historians gave this island a name for it, the land of saints and scholars. It's been said that, for a time, Ireland helped keep the light of learning alive for all of Europe. Remember that, because it reveals the deepest truth about this place. The Irish have always been a people who refuse to let things be forgotten. And nowhere is that clearer than in their language. Irish, Gaelic, is one of the oldest living languages in Europe. It was banned, punished, and nearly wiped out under centuries of foreign rule. And yet it survived. Today you'll still hear it spoken in villages along the western coast, carried across 100 generations, refusing to disappear. Every one of these facts points to the same thing. This is not just a green and beautiful land. It is a place that turned memory and words and stone into a way of surviving. So as we travel across it now, remember what you're really looking at. Not just an island, but a nation that has spent thousands of years refusing to forget who it is. Let's begin. We start on the edge of the world. On the west coast of Ireland, the land simply ends, dropping more than 200 meters straight down into the roaring Atlantic. These are the Cliffs of Moher, and standing at their edge is one of the most humbling experiences in all of Europe. For 8 kilometers, the cliffs run along the coast like a wall built to hold back the ocean itself. Waves that have crossed 3,000 miles of open sea crash against their base far below, so distant they make no sound. Seabirds ride the wind in their thousands. And the wind here doesn't blow, it pushes, hard enough to lean into. There is no railing between you and the drop in most places. Just green grass, gray stone, and then nothing. And in that moment, staring out at an ocean that stretches unbroken all the way to America, you understand exactly why the people of this island always looked out to sea, with both longing and fear. And as we turn inland from the cliffs, the green gives way to something no one expects. Just beyond the coast lies a landscape that looks like it belongs on another planet. This is the Burren, a vast, cracked plain of pale gray limestone, stretching to the horizon like a frozen gray sea. A visiting soldier once famously said there was not a tree to hang a man, not enough water to drown him, and not enough earth to bury him. And yet the Burren is very much alive. Down in the cracks between the stones, sheltered from the wind, wildflowers bloom in impossible variety. Arctic and Mediterranean plants growing side by side, found together almost nowhere else on Earth. Ancient tombs and stone forts sit scattered across it, thousands of years old. It's a place that looks dead and turns out to be full of life. In Ireland, Appearances are rarely the whole truth. And as the stone gives way once more to green, the road leads us west, into the wild and untamed heart of the country. Connemara is Ireland at its most raw and most beautiful. Here, dark mountains rise over golden bogs. Mirror-still lakes reflect a restless sky, and the land changes color with every passing cloud. Green, gold, purple, gray, and back again, all within minutes. This is one of the last strongholds of the Irish language, where you'll still hear Gaedhí spoken in the shops and on the roads, exactly as it was centuries ago. Ponies run wild across the hills. Whitewashed cottages sit alone against enormous skies. And the silence here is the kind you can feel. Connemara doesn't try to impress you. It simply is what it is, and that is precisely what makes it unforgettable. And off this rugged coast, out where the land finally surrenders to the sea, lie 3 islands where the old world never ended. The Aran Islands sit in the mouth of the Atlantic, battered by wind and wave, and yet people have called them home for thousands of years. Life here was never easy. There was almost no soil on the bare rock, so the islanders made their own, by hand, hauling seaweed and sand up from the shore over generations until the fields could grow. Every stone wall you see was built to shelter that precious ground from the wind. Look closely, and you're looking at centuries of pure human stubbornness. On the edge of one island stands a stone fort perched on the very lip of a cliff, dropping 90 meters straight into the sea, built thousands of years ago by people we still don't fully understand. Here, the Irish language, the old crafts, and the old ways have all held on. The Aran Islands are not a museum. They are simply a place that never let go. And now, further south, we reach the most breathtaking corner of the entire island. In the far southwest lies the county of Kerry, and a road that loops through what many call the most beautiful landscape in all of Ireland. Mountains plunge into shimmering lakes, green valleys open onto golden beaches, ancient stone circles stand in empty fields, and around every bend the Atlantic appears again, deep blue and endless. But the true jewel of Kerry lies 11 kilometers out to sea. Rising straight out of the ocean is a jagged pyramid of rock called Skellig Michael. And clinging to its peak, more than 200 meters above the crashing waves, sits one of the most astonishing places in the world. Over 1,000 years ago, a small group of monks chose this savage rock as their home. With their bare hands, they cut more than 600 steps into the cliff and built beehive-shaped stone huts that have withstood 1,000 years of Atlantic storms. They came here seeking to be closer to God, at the very edge of the known world. Standing up there, with the ocean roaring on every side and nothing but sky above, you feel the full weight of what they did, and the fierce, quiet devotion it took to do it. And in the far north, the earth tells one final, impossible story. On the northern coast, the land breaks apart into something that looks completely man-made and isn't. 40,000 columns of dark stone, most of them near perfect 6-sided pillars, stepping down into the sea like a staircase built for giants. Legend says a giant built it as a bridge across the water to fight a rival. The truth is a volcanic eruption 60 million years ago, cooling into these flawless shapes. Both stories are extraordinary, and standing on those strange stones, watching the waves swallow them one by one, some places are simply too strange for the plain truth to feel like enough. The world comes to Ireland for the green hills and the friendly faces, and it finds them. But everywhere we traveled told a deeper story. Cliffs that face an ocean that once carried millions of Irish away from home, never to return. A language that was banned and survived anyway. Monks who saved the knowledge of the world on a rock in the sea. And a 5,000-year-old chamber, built by people who wanted, more than anything, not to be forgotten. Because that is the real thread running through this island. Ireland has been conquered, starved, and emptied of its own people. It had every reason to lose itself. And it never did. It kept its language, it kept its songs, it kept its stories and its stones and its faith, and it passed them down, generation after generation, through everything history threw at it. That is the true magic of this place. Not just that it is beautiful, but that it remembers. Ireland is the island that refused to forget. And that is exactly why the world can never forget it. We've seen only a part of it here. Beyond these cliffs and valleys lie countless more castles, coasts, and stories still waiting to be discovered. Thank you for traveling through Ireland with us. If you'd like to discover more places the world only thinks it knows, there are many more journeys ahead and more stories coming soon.